guys, it's Helene. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing something a little bit different, something I didn't actually think I would ever be doing. I am going to revive an old novel of mine. And this is just going to be for a minor project. Obviously, my main project right now is my YA fantasy series, The Rashindi Chronicles, and I am still working on editing book 1 in that series. That is my Camp Nano project, as all of you know who have been following me on YouTube and social media. However, I have been feeling the desire to write, to draft something. And I think it's important to give into that a little bit and not deprive yourself of that avenue of creativity, because editing is such a draining thing to do. And so I think it'll be nice to kind of give myself that little reprieve and just that little break mentally. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be reviving an old novel. I had actually outlined it back in 2018, so about 2 years ago was when I outlined it, and I wrote the first little bit of it, like I want to say the first 6 or 7 chapters or so. So I got a fair ways into it. However, I'm not a fan of how I wrote it, but I am a fan of the story, and I think there's a lot of potential in it. So this is kind of going to be a little vlog as I work on reviving this story, and you guys will get to see the process of me redesigning the outline and deciding what things to keep, rediscovering things, hopefully. And I'll probably give you a little bit of background into the story as I start rediscovering it and rereading it, because I know the main plot of the story, and I know it's something that I want to write, and I think it's intriguing and it excites me to potentially be writing this story. However, I don't remember the entirety of the plot, so I'm going to be rediscovering a lot of stuff here and hopefully filling in some of these gaps in my memory that I don't quite remember. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to pull up my laptop here and I'm going to get started and look through my old notes and kind of fill you guys in when I find something interesting. Okay, so I went to look at the document entitled Scene List because I do recall one of the reasons I decided to revive this novel is because I recall I was very, very thorough when writing this scene list, and I had like whole paragraphs. Like, I'll show you. I had whole paragraphs for the scene list. And I thought, oh, I have a lot of information to go off of. Even if I don't remember everything, I'll have it all here. Well, the issue is I wrote down the little things and I left out a lot of the major plot points, because when I was writing this, I thought, oh, these plot points are so major, I'm never going to forget it. What's the point of writing it down if I already know it in my head? The issue is now, 2 or 3 years later, I have forgotten a lot of those major plot points. An example of this is about 3/4 of the way through this draft. I was reading along, and all of a sudden, we talk about Lord Nigel. And I'm like, who the heck is Lord Nigel? And the main characters are very suspicious of him for some reason. I don't know why. I never mentioned his name in the scene list before this, but they're suspicious of him. There's just been a murder, and they think he might be like a suspect. And so for the life of me, I can't remember who Lord Nigel is supposed to be. And then the scene continues by saying, this is basically, in parentheses, because I write little notes to myself, this is basically an excuse to talk about the whole Mad King affair. Who is the Mad King? Where did the Mad King come from, and what affair is this? I don't remember, but apparently it's very important to the plot, because I wrote it in here. I don't know if the Mad King is like someone from an enemy kingdom who might be a suspect. I don't know. And I'm trying to look back in the scene list and saying, oh, okay, did I miss anything? No, I did not miss anything. I just didn't write it because apparently I thought that this is such an important point to the plot that I just would never forget it, and what was the point of writing it down? So I'm gonna have to go back and look at some of my other documents. I have some other documents in this folder, like ideas or concepts to add, or even character interviews. So I'm gonna look through there and see if I can figure out who the heck this Mad King is and if I need him in this story at all. I'm back. Okay, so I did find out who the Mad King is. Apparently, he has something to do with the backstory of the villain and their origin story, the reason the villain killed this particular person in the story. So I'm glad that got clarified. That was actually hidden away in some obscure idea that I had. I'd only mentioned it one time. It was in one little note I'd written to myself about the whole history of the Mad King. It's actually very, very detrimental to the plot, and I only wrote it once. I only talked about it one time in one little note. So yeah, luckily it was there, and I know the importance of it now. But that was frustrating. Also, I discovered that one of my characters, the main characters, kind of has like the power of premonition, which I completely had forgotten about. I forgot that was a thing, but I like it, so we're gonna stick with that. Anyway, I'll kind of give you guys a little backstory to this, kind of the basis of the plot, for future reference as I continue on with this vlog. So the premise of the story is that there are two twin sisters, and they were born to the king and queen, so they're princesses, right? The catch is this kingdom is very, very superstitious, and twins are not a thing in that kingdom. No one has ever had a twin. Like, there are no twins. And when the queen gives birth to twins, everyone, like the king and queen, are kind of shook up. They're like, what is this? Because twins aren't a thing. And they know their people, their subjects are probably going to be up in arms about this because they are so superstitious and they take everything as an ill omen. They take everything that's unnatural as something that's evil. And so they basically have to hide the twin girls away, and they only tell their subjects that one daughter was born that day. And basically the whole story is now this twin sisters, they've been hidden away in this estate growing up for a while, and now they're finally coming to court to be introduced to the people, but they can only go into public one at a time. They can't show up together, obviously, because they told the kingdom there's only one princess. And they're identical, so they just switch in and out depending on their strengths and stuff like that. So it's a really interesting plot, but the thing is there is a mystery that goes on. And, I mean, past me did a really good job throwing in a lot of red herrings so that the readers would not know who the actual killer was. Luckily, I did remember who the actual killer was, and it was pretty surprising, and that's one of the reasons why I am motivated to revive this story, because I thought the ending was kind of good, if I do say so myself. But the issue is, because my past self did such a good job throwing in all these red herrings, I can't keep them straight. I don't know which is a red herring or how they're all connected, because there's so much going on that I completely forgot about. Like, I completely forgot all these little elements that I'd thrown in. So that's been interesting to rediscover and also try to fill in the blanks because I wrote so much, such a detailed scene list, but I also left so much out. I guess, again, because I thought that it just was something I wouldn't need to write in because I would just remember. But clearly, I don't remember. So anyway, that's kind of the basic plot of my story. I think my next step, now that I've kind of read through the scene list and all the other random documents I have about this story, I think my next step is to write a new scene list that I can actually understand, and that will hopefully help me connect all these moving parts better. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm back. So, a funny thing I just realized as I'm rereading through all these scene lists and everything, I never figured out an ending. I don't know how this novel was supposed to end. I never figured it out. I knew who the killer was and I knew how they were going to solve that, but I never figured out how all the other loose ends were going to be tied up. So that's fun, and now I'm having to figure out what the ending's gonna be. But I guess since I'm rewriting this outline, I have more, I guess, sway to adjust things and figure out an ending that fits this new revised version, which is good, I guess, but also I don't even have an idea now what the ending is gonna be. I'm no closer to figuring one out than I was back in 2018, so yeah, that's where I'm at now. A fun little discovery I made. I guess in regards to things I'm gonna keep and things I'm gonna change, so far I like almost like the main plot of the story. I like the structure that I've created. I like a lot of the concepts. I like all the plot lines, which is good, and I like the way I had planned to foreshadow those plot lines and build them and all that. So there's not too much on that end I need to change. I think the main thing I'm going to be changing in this rewrite is, well, outline-wise, is just rewriting some of the scenes themselves. Like the same things are going to happen in the scenes, but maybe I'll just rewrite them in different locations, or different things are being said a different way or something like that. Like, I'm gonna keep the main plot points that happen in each scene, but just tweak it a little bit. So that's good. And also, I'm going to change the writing style itself a lot once I actually start drafting this. I'm not gonna do too much work on the outline right now because the main purpose of reviving this story is so I can have something to draft, so I can have another way to use my creative muscle, and to just have fun, a little break in between editing. So I am just gonna try to do the bare minimum to get me started on the outline, and then I'm gonna just start drafting and kind of see how that goes. Hi, Garner. Hi, buddy. I'm a good boy. You are. Hi, buddy. You have an itch. Can I? Hey guys, so as you all have probably noticed, I am now out in the great outdoors with my doggo Gunner. He's wandering away right now. Anyway, so some quick updates. Right now, I'm still working on the outline, and it's been pretty nice because so far I can just do a lot of copy paste. Mostly the main things I'm noticing I'm having to adjust is there are a few scenes that could really be condensed into one scene, especially at the beginning, so that's what I'm doing now. That's mostly it so far, and I know there are so many things going on in this story, which is one of the reasons I like it, but I also have to be really careful that I'm foreshadowing all those and I'm executing those really well. So again, I'm not trying to stress about the outline too much, just trying to get a quick basic one up at least so I know kind of where the story's going and I can just get to drafting. I did actually draft a little, not really prologue because I don't really like writing prologues because I feel like no one ever reads them, and this is a scene that needs to be read, so I might just maybe not write prologue but like title it or something so potential readers will actually read it. It's a very short little scene that kind of gives the background about the twins' birth and their predicament. And I didn't have this in before, and I think it really does set the stage, and I think I really did need to have it. So that was fun to get to write that, and I found a really good writing style that I really like. Anyway, I really like it, so I'm getting really pumped to be writing some more of this story. Alright, new location. I have reached the end of my original scene list, which means that I have basically the whole story done except the ending, which, you know, who cares about that? That's not important. Basically, I know what the ending's going to be. I know how I want all the characters to end up, but I just don't know the final confrontation that's going to bring them to that point, if that makes sense. However, I'm not going to worry about it too much right now because I know that as I'm writing, I always discover new things about the plot, the characters, the setting. So I'm hoping that as I just start on this draft, a little plot thread will stand out to me and kind of help me figure out how to end this. I think I've been writing enough stories that I'll discover the ending. Like, it will come to me eventually as I start writing this. So anyway, I'm going to reread all my character questionnaires I filled out one last time before I start drafting, just to kind of get in the characters' heads a little more, and then we're gonna get going. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap everything up now. It's getting late, it's like 6 o'clock, and the sunlight's just gonna get worse and worse. So anyway, where I'm at right now, to kind of recap, as the plane's going overhead, I unearthed this story. I read over all my old notes. I even read over some of the original draft, which kind of almost made me not want to write it at all after rereading it, so I kind of skimmed over it after that to see if there were some elements that I wanted to keep. I just read over the character interview worksheets that I had filled out for my characters, and I am getting ready to start drafting it. That's about where I think I'm going to leave off at. I might draft a little bit tonight, but yeah, I probably won't check back in because the light is just getting bad. Anyway, so that is my video. Thank you guys again for watching and watching me struggle through this. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and click that notification bell so you can be alerted every time I post a new video, and I will see you all in the next video.